I stands for income. In other words, money matters. You know the statement, money is not evil, but the love of money, that is evil. Often people misinterpret, and they say, how can a loving God make people suffer because there's not enough money in the world? But I know one thing of our God. His solution to a problem is always a person. I did not say his solution always is money. His solution to a problem is always a person. Where is God's will, he will fit the bill. So there's something about understanding that we need to work in partnership, in parallel with God, in terms of achieving what he wants us to achieve. I would really believe it's his will that no one should suffer. But Jesus said, the poor will be with us always. So God understood. There's always the rich and there will be the poor, and that is reality. Because the poor forces us to get down to a level of serving. Will we serve each other? That's the question. So what did we do in our household? We decided to teach our children from a young age how to work with money. The first thing was we actually gave them a money box that had 3 compartments. Why? Because we wanted them to learn the principles of money. Compartment number 1 was 10%. Compartment number 2 was 10%. And compartment number 3 was 80%. So what did we teach them there? 10% give, 10% save, 80% spend. In fact, that money box was designed in such a way that the saving one in the middle was locked permanently. The one on the left also had a lock, but we encouraged our kids every Sunday to open up and decide how much they wanted to give to the church or how much they wanted to give to people in need. The 80% spend was open at all times because they had to learn once the money is done, once it's finished, there is no more money. So literally, these little money boxes with the 3 compartments helped our children understand that to think different about money. And obviously, we encourage long-term saving. There's short-term saving, medium-term saving, and long-term saving. So we help them look at it in a way, way different manner. In fact, we did what I call the 10 Rand exercise. One day, I took my entire salary, put it in 10 Rand notes. Got home, I said, guys, today we're going to go to the next lesson of how to work with money. And I literally took the money and I poured it out on our double bed. My son was in there diving onto it and we're rich, we're rich, we're rich. And I had to laugh because I knew it's only 10 Rand notes and in value. So then we started the exercise where every single child had to go and count out little heaps of 100 Rand at a time. So it was 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 100. Stack 1, stack 2, stack 3. At that stage we were paying our rent. It was just over 2,000. I think it was 2,200 Rand because we're talking way back in 1995. But the moment they had counted out the rent, it was like a whole chunk of the money and they went, oh my gosh. Then the water, then electricity, then the groceries. And in the end, now my son was able to say, is that all that's left? And then there was an understanding why possibly we could not buy pizza as a family with 4 children every weekend like a lot of other people could. We had to learn how to literally live in our means. But the 10 Rand exercise made my children understand how to work with money. So we started teaching them about pocket money from an early stage. We gave pocket money in terms of age appropriate. If the one was 10, they got 100 Rand. If they were 13, they got 130 Rand. If we were 16, it was 160 Rand. So we dealt with that section in age appropriate. But still, when it comes to money, I'm confirming the principle, never give your kids the same pocket money. It doesn't work. You want them to take accountability for the way that they do that. Then you want to teach them about stewardship. Stewardship is how do we work with our money God's way. Yes, there are ways and means to work with it, but God says you want to be wise with your money. You want to give when necessary. Like He teaches us, give to widows, give to orphans. So it's in His mandate that there are the people who cannot look after themselves, we will look after. And that you and I need to take responsibility of putting money away for a rainy day, for when we need it. So every single one of my children at the age of 13, we started teaching them about budgeting. That means at the age of 13, for a 6-month period, they had to go in on the computer with us and literally plan the household budget. So much for rent, so much for water night, so much for groceries, so much for medical, and the list goes on. I'll never forget on the first time we did it, my son went like, oh no, there's too much money for this, and he just chopped the budget. I said, okay. And soon he realized there wasn't enough room to move around to make the money stretch beyond what it can be, because 10 rand can only serve 10 rand in value. And soon they had to listen and learn that they had to come to a point of accepting what it is. So for 6 months, my boy ran the budget for their household. And so then we went to the next child and the following and the following. So every 6 months, after the age of 13, we were able to teach the children how to budget. Why? Because at that stage, my son was 13, the next one was 12, the next one was 11, the next one was 10. So we kept on doing this every 6 months, and we taught them all about budgeting. Now, the next point was to understand there's a differentiation between nice to have and necessary to have. It's nice to have everything in life, but sometimes you need to say, is it necessary? So if you're standing and you have a limited amount of money, ask yourself, is this nice to have or is this necessary to have? I really believe that's what's going to make the difference in terms of you deciding how you're going to spend that money, how you're going to proportion it, and how it actually end up where it actually goes. In fact, I say this, if you don't tell your money where to go, it will tell you where it's going. Can I repeat that? If you don't tell your money where to go, it will tell you where to go. One of the practical things we did was we actually devised what we call a holiday savings plan. We sat around the round table when you get your communication. We spoke about negotiation. I spoke about the round table where we sat as a family and we discussed everything. One of those obviously being money. And we spoke about, would you like to go on holiday? And they went, yes, we'd like to go on holiday. I said, all right, here's the deal. I would pay for the holiday. I'd pay for the accommodation, for petrol on the way there. However, because it's a planned holiday, you need to save your own pocket money to get to holiday. I don't have additional money because of all the expenses that we have. So our children all got to a point where they started putting away, and started really budgeting from a young age with our planned holiday savings. Out of that was birthed something that I never thought would make a difference to the thousands and thousands of people that we've trained on finances. It was the following, called a planned savings account. We really realized that there were things that always will require money. The things that are unforeseen and are unplanned, and they happen sporadically during the year. Like for instance, how often do you need to service your vehicle? Well, that's a certain amount of money. How often do you need to put tires on your vehicle? A certain amount of money. And all of that has to do with duration. So let's assume you want to service your car, call it 3 times a year. Let's say a service costs 5,000 Rand. So now you will have 5 plus 5 plus 5, that's 15,000 Rand they have to set aside. Let's say you need to put tires once a year. Let's assume that is 4,000 Rand. So now we actually have the 15,000 and we have the 4,000 we added together. Now we have 19,000 Rand. I say that there are 10 months in the year that you want to advocate your normal business. You don't want to use it in December because December is Christmas time and everybody needs extra money. And you don't want to use it in January because January is normally back to school and it's sort of a lean month after Christmas. Now that's how it works in South Africa. Obviously in America it will be June, July. But the principle of the matter stays. So in remaining and looking at that, we need to have a planned savings account. So that 19,000 Rand divided by 10 is 1,900. That means we put away 1,900 Rand every single month into a special savings account called a planned savings account, so that when we needed the money, the cash flow was available. Isn't that true? Most homes have this problem. You run out of money before you run out of month. Ouch. People don't have sufficient backup money, and cash flow is one of the biggest problems that we have. In fact, what you want to learn is as we go, when we teach on finances in the next level, we always teach you that cash flow is king. And that is far more important than anything else. In fact, we would like you to already put in the back of your mind that you need to build to a place where you can get an asset in place that will actually pay you regularly while you sleep. Making money while you sleep, in terms of what we call passive recurring income, is the way to plan your future. But this is some parenting, so it's not necessary to go into that detail when it comes to finance. But you can plant the seed that one day you'll manage your money in a different way. Please don't minimize the dreams of your children. If they have dreams and they want to become a medical doctor, or they want to become whatever it is, please don't limit them in their dreams. There's only one place where you need to coach them into. You can dream as big as you want, but you have to ask, who's going to pay the bill? In our home, because we had 4 children, we did not have the liberty to pay all our kids to go to university. In fact, it was just not physically possible. I came from a background where my father actually raised me to pay for my own university fees and to also pay for my own first car. I thought he was a bit harsh. I remember that I used to sell newspapers to buy my first bicycle. So my father taught me the principle you have to work to earn. Nothing wrong with that. However, I felt he could have helped me just to get me to start. So I want to advocate that depending on what you are able to do, possibly what you want to consider is to maybe help your kids towards buying their first vehicle. Help them towards buying their first property. But please, don't just go and buy their first vehicle. Don't just buy their first property without them putting anything into it. Because I can tell you one thing, note my words, free does not add value. Can I say that again? Free does not add value. Because by giving everything for free, you're not doing your children a favor. So the thing is now, will you pledge to run your money through a stewardship heart? One that says, I want to honor God in everything that I do. The way that I work with my money, the way that I treat money matters. Because money is sacred. Treat it accordingly. But don't let money become your God. Because money is not evil. It's the love of money. That is the root of all evil. So when we're looking at eye for income, remember, it's up to you to manage your money correctly.